In the year 2011, astronauts Brian Harper, Jocinda Fowler, and the new recruit, Marcus, embarked on a crucial space shuttle mission to repair a satellite orbiting the Earth. Their mission was routine, or so it seemed. As they floated in the vastness of space, the Earth below and the stars above were their constant companions. The repairs were going smoothly until suddenly, without warning, a shadow descended upon them. A mysterious black swarm appeared out of nowhere, enveloping the orbiter. Panic and confusion swept through the crew as they struggled to understand what was happening. Before Brian could react, Marcus, the newcomer, was inexplicably lost in the void of space. Fowler, too, succumbed to the mysterious force and fell unconscious. Brian was left alone in the dimly lit shuttle, grappling with the surreal nightmare unfolding around him. With remarkable resilience, Brian managed to regain control of the shuttle and guide it back to Earth.
I'm gonna get you home.
He brought Fowler safely home, but their journey was marred by the inexplicable loss of Marcus. Despite Brian's heroic efforts to save the mission, his story was met with disbelief upon their return. NASA dismissed his accounts of the swarm and the loss of Marcus as fantastical tales from the unknown depths of space. Fowler, though supportive of Brian, couldn't validate his story, having been unconscious during the incident. Thus, Brian's reputation as a hero was short-lived as the agency considered him a mere storyteller. Brian's account of the enigmatic black swarm continued to be met with skepticism, and he found himself adrift in the cosmos of public doubt. A decade passed, and in 2021, the moon remained an enigma shrouded in the mysteries of space. Meanwhile, a man named K. Houseman, a self-proclaimed conspiracy theorist, was on the brink of a revelation that would alter the course of history. Houseman fervently believed that the moon was not a natural celestial body, but rather an artificial megastructure created by an ancient civilization. He spent years observing the moon through a research telescope, meticulously documenting its peculiar movements and anomalies. His theory gained momentum as he secretly used time on the telescope to uncover the startling truth. His observations revealed that the moon's orbit was inexplicably shifting, bringing it closer to Earth. Houseman, aware of the potential consequences of such a phenomenon, attempted to share his findings with NASA. However, his attempts to reach NASA were met with silence and indifference. Frustrated and undeterred, Houseman sought out Brian Harper, who had withdrawn from the world of space exploration and was grappling with personal problems. When Houseman approached Brian with his theory, the former astronaut dismissed him as another conspiracy enthusiast, choosing to ignore his plea for help. Undaunted by Brian's reluctance, Houseman turned to the power of social media. He published his findings and theories online, and within hours, they went viral. The world was captivated by the notion that the moon might not be what it appeared to be. The sudden surge of interest caught the attention of NASA, and they could no longer afford to ignore Houseman's claims. NASA swiftly organized a lunar mission to investigate the peculiar events surrounding the moon. The stakes were high, for the potential consequences of an erratically orbiting moon were dire. As the lunar mission commenced, a feeling of trepidation settled over the astronauts, for the unknown awaited them on the moon's desolate surface. Their objective was to drop a probe into a deep artificial shaft that had mysteriously opened up on the lunar surface, a perplexing occurrence in itself. To their astonishment, as the probe descended into the shaft, it discovered something utterly unexpected. The same alien swarm that had attacked Brian's shuttle a decade earlier had re-emerged. In a harrowing turn of events, the swarm annihilated all 3 lunar astronauts. Back on Earth, panic spread as the lunar mission descended into chaos. The world watched in horror as the astronauts faced an otherworldly foe, their mission taking an unexpected and tragic turn. The mysteries of the moon deepened, and the fate of humanity hung in the balance. As the lunar orbit continued to deteriorate, the moon drew closer and closer to Earth. Cataclysmic disasters followed in its wake, threatening the very fabric of life on our planet. Tsunamis of unprecedented magnitude crashed against coastlines. Cities buckled under gravitational abnormalities, and the Earth's atmosphere began to dissipate into the void of space. Amidst the chaos, Jocinda Fowler, who had risen to the position of deputy director at NASA, unearthed a long-buried truth. She discovered that Brian's account of the black swarm and the events of their ill-fated shuttle mission were true. Furthermore, she learned that NASA had concealed this knowledge from the public. A military program known as ZX-7 had devised an EMP electromagnetic pulse device to combat the swarm, but budget constraints had forced its abandonment. Now, faced with the impending catastrophe, Fowler ordered the retrieval of the EMP device and made an audacious decision. She resurrected the retired Space Shuttle Endeavour from a museum with the intent of deploying it on a new mission. To ensure the mission's success, Fowler sought out Brian Harper, the one man who had encountered the swarm firsthand. She promised to restore his position at NASA in exchange for his assistance. Though initially hesitant, Brian could not turn his back on the fate of humanity. He agreed to join the mission. He took Houseman on the mission with him because of his intelligence. With the EMP device in their possession, the team launched into space just as a colossal tsunami wave decimated the Vandenberg Space Force base. Their mission was perilous, and the weight of the world rested on their shoulders. Their plan involved using a space probe as bait to lure the alien swarm out of the moon. However, their desperate attempt failed, and they were left with no alternative but to venture into the moon's interior. As they entered the moon's enigmatic depths, they were confronted with a revelation that defied all understanding. The moon, it appeared, was not a natural satellite of Earth, but an artificial megastructure constructed by a vastly superior alien technology. This megastructure drew its energy from a white dwarf star, confirming Houseman's theory. The team watched in awe as the alien swarm drained energy from the white dwarf, causing the moon's orbit to destabilize as its power source dwindled. Brian, amid this revelation, unearthed another astonishing truth. The moon had been constructed billions of years ago by the ancient ancestors of humanity as a space ark. Their purpose was to repopulate humanity, which had come under threat from a rogue artificial intelligence that had grown too powerful. The swarm on the moon was one of these malevolent artificial intelligences, responding to electronic activity in the presence of organic life. As the moon continued its ominous approach to Earth, the President of the United States gave the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Jenkins, orders to launch a nuclear strike on the moon. However, the Air Force Chief of Staff, General Doe Davidson, refused to carry out the strike order, recognizing the dire consequences of such an action. As the moon's relentless approach caused increasingly catastrophic events on Earth, Houseman, realizing that they were running out of time, made the ultimate sacrifice. He used the EMP device and their lunar module to draw the swarm away from their spacecraft, then detonated the device. The explosion obliterated the swarm, allowing Fowler and Brian to escape the moon's clutches and return to the now perilously nearby Earth. With its power and systems restored, the moon structure began to return to its regular orbit, sparing Earth from further devastation. Fowler and Brian successfully landed their spacecraft in Colorado, finally reuniting with their loved ones in the wake of a world forever changed.